Hello everyone and welcome to the monthly Dive to the Longbox one-shot, number 35. I am Gabe here, joined by Jocelyn as usual, and today, on today's episode, we will be reviewing Martial Law Takes Manhattan by Epic Comics. So this is an interesting book, right? Pat Mills is poking fun at the Marvel characters, right? Interestingly,
say, this is a Marvel published book.
Yes, this is Marvel's imprint, Epic Comics.
I think it was their creator-owned imprint.
Yeah, which makes this whole book even funnier in context. That Marvel printed this, technically.
Allowed this. Yeah.
Like, these pages graced their printers and produced this.
It's fucking crazy.
So, we will be reviewing Martial Law Takes Manhattan here today on the One Shot. Let's jump right into this. We start off here and we see this man in the shadows, right? We find out this man is named Hank Hogan with a very alliterative name like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner. You know, Hank Hogan. And he says that he's 28 years old and I am a superhero. And behind him is a very stretchy man with like his hand wrapped around his neck, like taped up so it doesn't drag on the floor. Which, in this case, will be this story's Mr. Fantastic, right?
You know, I was really disappointed that he didn't go, I am a real American, and then he started cupping his ear.
He busts out the guitar with the American flag behind him, just starts playing it.
It's like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
So now we get a view of the heroes here, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Throughout the story, they maybe said only a handful of their names.
They don't say it very often. Yeah.
No, but when I'm reading through this, I see the characters are supposed to be. So there are characters that are supposed to be Thor, who is Valhalla in this. There is Spider-Man in the upper right. He's the spider character. There is a U.S. soldier in red, white, and blue, supposed to be Captain America. There was a man in a creepy-looking cape that's supposed to be...
I believe he's called Old Glory.
Old Glory, yes. Yes, he is. Then we have this guy in a cloak that's supposed to be like Doctor Strange, like a weird magician. Even if you look at every page he's on for the most part, his two middle fingers are connected like Doctor Strange's are in the books, you know, when he puts them together. Almost every picture I notice, his fingers are like that, so he's supposed to be Doctor Strange. There's a fish man on a throne that's supposed to be Namor. And then there's a guy with the A. I think that's supposed to be Hawkeye, because that's the guy with the arrows.
I think so, yeah.
There's a guy with a hat and trench coat that the Thing wears, but he walks around with a silver surfboard. So he is a silver surfer. And then there's the yellow guy that has different colors that can, like, feel things on, like, a spectrum. I still don't know who that's supposed to be. I'm a little stuck on that one, I'm going to be honest with you. He has a very brutal ending later.
Say that again?
In the first page, he's like the yellow guy walking around. I don't know who he's supposed to be. Like a thing of. You know what I mean?
Yellow guy walking around. Okay.
Yeah. And then like later on in the book, he relies on his radar vision. It's Daredevil. He's blind. It's Daredevil. He's walking around because he's blind with his arms out. Holy shit. I just got that. He's walking around with his hands out because he can't see. Oh my god. Because he talks about sensing things with his radar vision. His radar senses. All right. There we go. Those are the heroes that are being made fun of in this book. And of course, Mr. Fantastic is a stretchy guy. And this Hank Hogan is actually revealed to be this book's version of Ant-Man. Because he complains about his wife, who turns into a fly. And the best running gag in this, after this Ant-Man introduces himself to the cast of heroes here, the Mr. Fantastic guy turns to his chair and he asks his wife about how these heroes deal with paranoia obsessions and delusions that were brought on by their superpowers. And he turns to the empty chair and says, "Isn't that right, dear?" Which I thought was funny.
He does that often.
He does. He talks to his non-existent wife quite a bit, which I thought was hilarious. So after that, we learn that it's time for their medication. So all the nurses come in and they give the Lord of Valhalla his meds. And he kind of has a thing for the nurse. He talks about the nurse. He's very thankful that she helps his weird headaches go away with these pills that he takes. What does he call them? He calls them enhanced or enchanted potions. That's what he calls them. She gives the fish guy his, quote, oxygen pills for him to take. She gives, what was his name again? Old Glory?
Yes.
She gives Old Glory his pills, and throughout this whole book, he talks to himself in his head quite a bit.
I was going to say, so throughout this whole book, he's given, like, entire monologues to himself, and I just think it's really funny.
Yeah, there's a page later on where it's like 4 panels of just monologuing.
Yeah, it gets like egregious. You're like, holy
and he's
shit.
Like paranoid too. Like even here when she gives him the pills, he's like, oh, she's a drug pusher. Part of a sick conspiracy to overthrow the government, the church, the police, and the rich. Everything I hold dear. So he's like, I'm going to pretend to take these pills so I don't look like I'm falling for her schemes.
Fucking Old Glory should have been a fanfic writer.
And then she gives it to the Master of Magic, who's the Doctor Strange guy. And he just speaks in weird riddles. And he says, John Dad, jiggle, 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 Matt Mitty, Matt Mitty, Matt Mitty. So she gives him the pills, and he's being difficult with her. And we find out that he is a schizophrenic and a hebephrenic, whatever that is. His words turn into like weird jumbles of mishmashes of letters, which is why he's saying, John Swing, Jat Jitty Jat John Swing. So the orderlies come in, they take him down here. He has we find out he has bizarre delusions and hallucinations, and he mouths rhymes when he's going insane. So they muscle him down to the ground, and they pull down his pants, and they give him a shot right on the ass cheek. And then it kind of calms him down. And if you look, he's drooling from his mouth after he gets the shot. And then she asks the men, she says, have you all emptied your bladders? And they said, yes, Nurse James, we have. And they say, good, because the specialist will be here soon to see you all. And that's what we see our hero, Marshal Law, shown. He's talking to Commissioner McG in his office.
Well, I should point out, she's not referring to him.
No, she's not.
I don't think she is.
She's not.
Yeah.
She's referring to the character that's showing up later that's trying to join their little band of broken-brained hero misfits.
Yes.
So, and the reason why all these heroes are messed up and taking medications is because they got messed up from their powers. They explain it a little more later on, so stick with us, all right? So Marshal Law is talking to the Commissioner McG. They're talking about this guy called the Persecutor, and they're trying to link the Commissioner to the Persecutor because Marshal asks, he goes, because the Hispanics he murdered were complaining about racism on the police force? And he's like, no, Marshal, of course not. He's like, listen, they think because I'm encouraging these vigilantes that I'm siding with him here. So it's a problem, and I need you to solve it for me. I need you to take down the Persecutor. We find out he's been arrested in New York City, and he's going to go be meeting up with something you don't like, those damn disturbed superheroes. So they go to talk about this. He signs on to the deal, and Marshal is on the case. So before that, we find out how Marshal knows the Persecutor. And we find out the Persecutor was actually a guy that was in the military with him. He was a guy that loved to torture people and treat them horribly in the military. And then when he went home from the war, his family was brutally gunned down. Does this sound familiar to anybody?
Are they driving home the point yet?
This is supposed to be the Punisher. For people who don't know. So, his family gets gunned down, and instead of going the regular Punisher route, he goes a weird white supremacist route. He gets very religious, starts believing a lot of things, tattoos a swastika on his forehead, and now is murdering people that he feels like are wronging him. If you're not getting what Pat Mills thinks about the Punisher. And I do like, though, how his logo kind of is the Punisher logo, where it says R.I.P., but it's the skull on the chest. Kind of like Punisher.
Yeah.
So this is a good villain that I want to see get killed. Visually, I want to see this guy get fucking destroyed. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, they're building this guy up to just be like
This guy would have been
abhorrent.
He would have 100%
Absolutely.
been in a kick-ass comic book. Absolutely. You know, Frank Miller was pissed he wasn't able to create this character first. This guy absolutely,
Yes.
Batman would have beat the shit out of him.
Yes.
So we find out that this person, he's paranoid because of what happened to his family. He thinks everyone's out to get him. They say he has a persecution complex. Instead of, which I was like, that's a very unique word. You know what I mean? A persecution complex. Instead of like a hero complex. So he thinks everyone's out to get him, and he's trying to join this band of broken... He's being sent here to this prison where these people are being held and drugged, all these heroes. So they start interrogating him as to why he's here. And they're like, well, honestly, we don't want you here. They're kind of honest with him. They're like, you're kind of a psycho, and second of all, you're not even really a superhero. You don't have powers. You were never given powers like we have that cause us to be the way that we are. You don't fit in here. You don't belong here. And he's like, well, I don't think that having a crossbow is really a superpower. And he points to, like, the Hawkeye guy. And he's like, I led a group of superheroes in California. I'm like, all right, you guys are poking fun at the fucking West Coast Avengers now?
Yeah.
To which the Spider-Man character says, in California, they'll accept anyone. So then they ask him, they're like, listen, we've tightened up our rules, Persecutor. Like, you don't fit in with this group. And he's like, I'm a serial killer. Is that not good enough for this team? Like, is that not fucked up enough to be a part of this team? And they're like, well, no. Because of what happened to us and all of our powers, you really just don't fit in here. So then we see the nurses talking here, the nurse from earlier, and there's a Hispanic nurse talking with her. And she's asking her about how she feels about Persecutor. And we found out that this Hispanic nurse, her family came during the war, and how she does not like Persecutor. And the nurse from earlier fucking is super racist to her and is like, well, you should be grateful you're in our country and we didn't fuck yours up. So I was like, oh boy.
But you know what her reply was? She said, the only reason why I'm in your country is because you fucked mine up.
Yeah.
And I was like, man,
damn.
That's a perfect response.
This book, I was like, is a lot more political than I thought.
It's, you know what? It's aged wonderfully. I'll say that. It's aged wonderfully.
This is a very timely book. Which, it's horrible, but it's horrible that that's the case. But this is a very timely book for people that want to read, I guess, in something that's of the times, I guess. I don't know.
But just that interaction between the two nurses, it's like, yeah, this is very timely. It's still
that would be on that Instagram page, Comic Books Out of Context.
Yes.
That would be one they would post. So this is when Persecutor gets angry, and he's yelling at the Mr. Fantastic guy, and he's like, no, you got to let me into this because someone's coming after me. He is coming after me. And he asks him, who? And he goes, him. He goes, I've heard he's coming to get me here in New York. And I mean, we can only guess who that is. So they're talking, they're stressing about what's going on. Meanwhile, the water guy, the fucking Namor guy, he's like, he's gonna kill us at any moment. And the Thor guy is thinking about a way to rizz up the nurse. And the Silver Surfer guy is trying to ask people about what his pleasure centers are. And he's like flashing them in his coat. Like, what is happening, bro? We keep talking here, and he's trying to talk them into helping him stop whoever's coming for him. And he tells me, like, you guys don't get it. He's going to kill all of us, not just me, all of us. They're like, he is a deranged bastard. He will kill everybody. And we get a really cool splash page here of Marshal Law with, like, a giant gun on his shoulder. By the way, when was Marshal Law created? Did Sandman get an inspiration for the barbed wire tattoo from Marshal Law? If you look at the barbed wire on his arm, it's the same arm and it looks identical.
You know, it's cutting it close because Marshal Law was like late 80s and Sandman was like early 90s, I think.
Do you think Sandman read Marshal Law and was like, I want that tattoo? He seems like the type.
You mean like if Neil Gaiman read Marshal Law?
No. The Sandman from ECW.
Oh my god, we're having like two completely different conversations. I was thinking Sandman the book, but
no, look at his barbed wire tattoo. Okay. Looks like the Sandman's. It's identical.
I feel like I remembered reading that the Sandman like read comics. Like I know Raven.
Yeah.
Raven did for sure. Raven actually.
Yes. He came out with superhero shirts. He came out with Sandman shirts.
Yeah, but Raven did like an interview where he said like he read something like 20 comics a week or something like that.
God damn, he sounds like me. But if you look, because martial law has actual barbed wire. That's physical barbed wire wrapped on his arm. But the way it looks, dude, it looks just like Sandman's tattoo. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this page. I was like, whoa, cool, Sandman?
I'm so dialed into like the comics that I didn't even make that like that association, I guess.
Yeah, that was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh, okay. We get more of a backstory here between Martial Law and Persecutor, and we find out that Martial Law was actually one of his students in war when he was teaching classes about how to not torture people that they capture. And the class was about torturing and how to torture these people. And he tells him, he's like, are you like suggesting, like, I know this is a class about how not to do it, so to show not how to do it, you're showing us how to do it. So are you, like, suggesting that we do it? And he's like, well, I'm going to tell you this. Like, I'm not saying to do it, but I'm not saying to not do it. You know what I mean? And he legitimately winks at a young martial law. Like, you know, don't do it, guys, you know? Don't do this thing I'm explaining because, yeah. But this is when martial law didn't like what he was seeing. You know, we find out that there was just a bunch of bad stuff going on in the war here. And at the time, he didn't really look too much into it because he thought, like, you know, we're the good guys. That's just what we do. But he smartened up a little bit after that. They'll discuss later on. But now we cut back to the heroes, and we find out that they've made their decision about the Persecutor. They're not letting Persecutor on the team. And they're like, you should... Enough. Yeah, and they're like, you should go to prison. They're like, listen... you can't say that you turned into this. You've always been a dick. You've always been, like, a torturous person. It's not just because of your family. Like, there's a history of you being like this. This is just who you are. You're not a hero. You're a bad guy. You're just a flat-out bad guy. You're not fucked up in the head because of powers. You're just fucked up in the head because you're a dickhead. That's literally that's, in a nutshell, what they say to him. So he calls them bleeding heart liberals and then kicks one of them, or one of the soldiers, and then shoots the guy in the head. Because that's what Persecutor does. And he tells them, killing is beautiful. And he ends up killing another soldier. He says, killing is noble. Which, it's fucked up. But the blind guy that's supposed to be Daredevil, now that I know he's blind, these panels are funnier. Because he's just standing there not knowing what's going on because he can't see anything. He's just standing there all confused. Oh my god! If you look at the page where they say, to prison shall you go, he's holding on to Thor looking the other direction.
I didn't pick that up.
Me neither till now. I gotta look for him in every... Wait, the panel before that, he's facing the wall.
I wasn't looking at the background. Shit.
Me neither. Dude, that's all I'm gonna be looking at now is seeing if I see him in panels. So, as he's killing soldiers, he tells them that killing is art. And then the nurse from earlier, from Latin America, she grabs a knife and she goes, you bastard. My own family were victims of your art. And then he turns around and he calls her a commie and he shoots her in the chest. And that's because he's an asshole. So now we get fucking just two ginormous panels of Old Glory talking to himself, wondering why he's not stepping into the situation right now and why he's letting this happen as he's just talking to himself as it's happening.
He's not just having a monologue, he's having like two monologues with himself.
We know he has paranoia, but holy shit does he have paranoia, dude. He overthinks everything. We see all the heroes jump into action. They think now it's time. Valhalla leads them into action here. I don't know why, but the blind dude's falling over. He's sideways heading towards the ground. So then they escape. The nurse is like screaming for help. And they're like, anybody you see in a superhero costume, you kill them on the spot. You capture them, kill them, do whatever you need to do. So then the security guards, the reception guys are like, do we wait for security? And they're both like kind of jacked. One's fat, one's jacked. And they're like, I think we can handle it ourselves. And they look to the side, and it's martial law marching into the building at just the wrong time. We see another nurse, and she's like, do you think we need to, like, call anybody? And one of the doctors is like, no, we got guys that can handle that. And as he's saying that, we see the fat reception guy get thrown across the room by martial law. And then the next scene is martial law in their face now. And he checks in, and the lady goes, what's your name? He goes, martial law. She goes, problem? And he goes, yours. And he punches her square in the face. And then the next panel is him running away like a Scooby-Doo character. So he runs away, and the doctor is furious, and he's like, I need all these people stopped. There's a man named Marshal Law here, and he needs to be stopped just instantly. Take care of him. All of you, my heroes. So then the heroes are on the phone, and they're like, you got it, Doc. And they look all creepy. They're mad. They're all together. And now I'm seeing the blind one, the Daredevil guy. He's hiding in Thor's cape right now, and his hands are out like he doesn't know where he's reaching. Like he's feeling around the cape.
That's right.
And Old Glory looks paranoid at the reader. This is where we find out that Marshal Law's here. He's the superhero hunter. And not only is he here, but he is the one that is responsible for the death of the public spirit, who we find out is the hero of Old Glory. So that's when they're like, yo, don't say anything to Old Glory. He'll flip out. And Old Glory's kind of looking a little nervous and paranoid. And now Mr. Fantastic's like, he'll flip out on him. Maybe that could work in our favor. So they go forward. Marshal Law breaks into a room and finds a guy that's tied up in this Inferno costume. Mr. Fantastic and the magic Doctor Strange guy.
I think they call him the Human Inferno.
Yes, the Human Inferno. Yes, they do. We find out that it's basically the Human Torch. They take off the costume, and he just completely combusts in flames, and he screams in agony. And he jumps at Marshal Law, takes him down, and this is when this comic's Weird Avengers jump into action, and Marshal Law calls them on. He says, okay, assholes, assemble. And this is where Old Glory's looking to the side, not wanting to get involved. The Daredevil guy's facing the wall again, squaring up with the wall, and everyone else is charging at Marshal Law. And the Human Torch guy is like on the ground writhing in pain. He's like in like water, it looks like trying to cool off.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
So Marshal Law just starts kicking ass here. He's beating them all up. He's shooting them all these heroes. He kicks Valhalla in the dick, and he even drops a line saying, my Midgard serpent is writhing in agony. So that dastardly little Mr. Fantastic guy walks around to Old Glory, and he tells him, he goes, that's the man who killed your idol, Colonel Buck Kane, the public spirit. To which, if you didn't get the Captain America reference, Old Glory gets angry and goes, Bucky? That's right, he did it to Bucky. So then he flips out, jumps into action, he kicks Marshal Law, and he's like, I'd call you a murdering bastard, except I don't believe in bad language. To which Marshal Law replies, I do. Come here, dickhead.
Yeah.
So Old Glory hits him with like a wire, an electrical wire, and puts it to to Marshal Law's face. And they drag Marshal Law. They tie him up with Mr. Fantastic's arms. I call him Mr. Fantastic. I don't know his name still. Ties him up with his arms, and they hang him over a elevator shaft. And then Marshal Law this is the most insane conversation. Marshal Law goes, I ought to dig Bucky up and do it to him all over again. And Old Glory just responds, necrophilia?
Yeah, he's like really taken back by it.
And then the next two panels is him kicking Marshal Law down the elevator shaft, and then him turning to the reader and giving a thumbs up. I was like, oh my god. And then this is where it gets so gross. So he falls, right? This elevator shaft, and he lands in the Spider-Man character's web. And he's doing the Spider-Man pose in the web.
Yeah.
And we find out what this web is made out of here. I'm going to read the case study. The case study says, a shy and sexually inhibited young man who was experiencing difficulties with his marriage and coping with his superpowers. He was diagnosed as suffering from a psychosexual neurosis. He tried to overcome his marital problems by a blatant form of exhibitionism, namely, spending his nights leaping from building to building in a hairy spider suit, web shooting. The sexual significance of this, along with the circumstances under which he was arrested, is discussed below. So we found out this webbing that martial law is trapped in is literally this man's cum. And if you didn't notice in the beginning of the book, when he's hanging upside down, it's from his crotch.
Oh, yeah.
So this is his cum. Disgusting.
Jesus Christ.
So as he's in the elevator shaft, you see the Spider-Man guy web away, and he looks down and he says, oh shit, it's the Persecutor. And he's coming up at full speed with this elevator on top of the elevator.
He's coming up, all right.
But then we see a little bit of a of shenanigans maybe happening here with the commissioner. And we find out that Commissioner's talking to himself, and he says that, man, after the scandal surrounding the death of the public spirit, it was advisable for martial law to be out of the way for a while. And he says when he's up against the Persecutor, it could just be permanent. So maybe the Commissioner's trying to kill martial law? We're getting teased here a little bit. And this is where we find out when Persecutor was training and showing people how to torture and maim like these poor, where were they? Uruguayan beggars. Tying them up, torturing them for the military, showing the soldiers how to torture and kill these people. Martial law had enough at that point. He actually punched Persecutor in the face during one of the presentations with the rest of the unit. And because of that, martial law was punished by being waterboarded by the Persecutor. And then we cut back to real life, current day, and he's being waterboarded right now again by Persecutor. Kind of, by with electricity. It has the same visual, like he's waterboarding him, but it's with electricity.
Sure, yeah.
And he tells him, he's like, you remember my old motto, right? The precise pain in the precise place, in the precise amount for a desired effect. And he electrocutes martial law in the dick. And he tells him, he's like, oh man, I know this isn't my usual tools I use to torture people, but I can always improvise. Because guess what? The CIA allowed it to happen. You forget that. You think you were doing something good? No, the CIA, they're the ones that allowed me to torture. They wanted me to do that. This was signed off. You think it was a crime, but it's not. They let me do it. And he tells him, he goes, when you think about it, we really are superheroes. To which martial law says, thanks. You just said the magic words. Superheroes. That's my Shazam.
That's my Shazam.
My spinach. Basically, when he hears the word superheroes, he flips the fuck out.
I started laughing at this point.
And he grabs Persecutor by the neck. He chokes him as blood comes out of his face as their elevator shaft goes flying down. And they go back to the surface, and he punches Persecutor in the face. And he talks about how it's almost disgusting how these heroes are made in labs, and it's not natural, and he hates superheroes for that reason. And he knows that from personal experience because he's the biggest bastard of them all. We find out the SWAT comes through here, and the heroes are like, oh, where are we gonna go? And then Old Glory's like, I found the stairs. We can go to the roof and get out of here. And they're like, wow, Old Glory, that's a great idea. So all the heroes head to the roof. The SWAT team waits at the elevator, and martial law has Persecutor handcuffed by his nose to his wrist.
Literally by his nostrils.
And he has his badge, and they're like, who are you? And he's like, I'm a hunter hero, motherfucker. And he shows him the badge. And then he goes through, he drags him by his nose. And this is when we see the heroes at the top, man. Oh my god. So, the cops are calling it in. They're like, the lunatics are on the roof. They broke the water tank on the roof, though. They're trying to escape. So they break through the glass. And Valhalla goes, follow me over the rainbow bridge to Heimdall. And then the Silver Surfer guy gets on his board, and he goes, the universe beckons me as he's riding the water. And the Namor guy is like, I command thee waves, carry me back to my watery kingdom. The Daredevil guy's talking to himself, and he's like, I can sense with my radar that a pole is near me, and I'm going to stop myself. He grabs the pole at full velocity, and his arms fucking rip off of his body.
And the arms are still hanging there.
They're still hanging there. Then we see the
After
Mr.
all the panels.
And then we go to the Mr. Fantastic guy. And he goes, concentrate on maintaining the invisible force field to cushion our fall, darling. I was like, oh no. Oh no. And then we see Old Glory. And he grabs a satellite antenna and he goes, my trusty shield. That should absorb the impact. And I'm like, oh no, I know what's happening. And then the arrow guy says, luckily I've got this invisible safety line arrow to help me. I'm like, oh no. The Ant-Man guy is like, oh, I see my faithful termites waiting for me below. Be my trampoline. And then the Doctor Strange guy is just saying random gibberish as he's falling. And the Human Torch guy's falling, and he's like, I'm on fire still. Oh, God, luckily this fall's going to put me out of my misery. So we see them all falling, embracing for impact. And then the next panel is them exploding on the ground. And we see Marshal Law waiting there where they all exploded, and their guts are all over his shoes.
Everywhere.
And then we see, just laying there, is the Human Torch guy, and he's like, oh no, I'm still alive, and I'm still on fire. And he's burning. And all the homeless guys start warming their hands over his body. I was like, holy shit. So Marshal Law takes in Persecutor, leaves him with a group of cannibals, and he tells them, like, you can't do this to me. This isn't right. This isn't moral. And Marshal Law says, I promise I won't let the liberals make me feel guilty about it. I'm like, what? And he goes, have a good death. And then we see the cannibals spit roasting, not like that. Spit roasting.
Not like that.
Not like that. But like with like what they do to the pigs, they're cooking Persecutor using the Human Torch guy as a flame, and he's like, "No, you mustn't abuse my powers like this." He's like begging them to stop.
He's giving a speech.
So then Marshal Law comes back to the office, and he walks up to the to go see Commissioner McGee, and he's getting head from a secretary. You see her bent over in the first panel when he kicks the giant door down, and then the next panel she's like shirt is completely open, tits are hanging out, and she's like,
Oh, yeah.
he's like, Gina, that'll be enough, and she goes, yeah, sure, I'll be back later to pick up all those paper clips. So he hands him the dog tags of Persecutor, and he just picks up the dog tags, does Commissioner, and Marshall looks at him and he goes, "Nuff said." And then the last page is a very disgustingly detailed, brutal look at the dead superhero bodies that smashed onto the ground at full velocity. And that was Marshall Law Takes Manhattan. What did you think of Marshall Law Takes Manhattan?
What a book.
What a
What a
book,
book.
dude. I said this to you before we recorded, but I was like, yo, if people thought The Boys was like poking fun at heroes, they ain't got nothing on Marshall Law, bro. Holy shit. Marshall Law walked so they could run.
I think this did it better.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I feel like this did it better.
I think what made this better is that the heroes they were parodying were so obvious. And I think that makes it better. Instead of just like vague, like, oh, they have the same powers like in The Boys. They're like, no, like, this is obviously Spider-Man and Mr. Fantastic and Punish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it
yeah.
makes the gag funnier, I think. This is another one of those I hate superhero books. And you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a good time reading this.
I
It's
did
so
too. I had a lot
it's
of
so
fun reading
bonkers
this.
and off the wall, dude. It's nuts. Which then gets me intrigued to read more martial law.
And you know what's funny is, so you mentioned that Pat Mills, like, you got the impression that he didn't like Punisher, which is very ironic because he ended up writing Punisher 2099.
That's crazy. You know what? I just realized this guy's suit kind of looks like Punisher 99.
Yeah,
Punisher
it
2099?
does, right?
Dude, it's the same. Yeah, the red, white, and blue. Holy shit. Whoa. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude. This was so off the wall insane that I loved it. I would definitely say check out Martial Law.
Marshall
It's a
Law
classic.
Takes Manhattan.
Yes. This one it's entertaining. It's everything you want out of a comic, you know? Oh my god, I just realized the cover. The cover of this issue. Hold on. Cuz I know you read the collected edition.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, everything just makes so much more sense for me. He's looking another direction.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Every time he's in a panel, he's looking a different direction. This cover is great too.
It is.
This is
It's
such a
really
great
good
cover. And also on the cover, there's little writings on the wall, and they're Marvel phrases. It says Excelsior, True Believer, Mighty Marvel. It says on the front. And again, what makes this so great is that it was fucking basically printed by Marvel, which cracks me up.
Right, yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, even the back has more Marvel phrases. It says, Bucky was lucky, Yolk smash, flame on. It says on the back. So, yeah, that was, like I said, that was Martial Law. It was a fun read. Again, go check out Martial Law Takes Manhattan. It'll be linked below if you want to purchase it. I did get this in the wild at a comic shop in like a dollar bin, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, holy fuck. All right, cool. So I grabbed it. I've had it for like 2 years now. So I'm glad to finally read it and review it. Next month, we are going to be reviewing another book. Spoiler alert, we're reviewing a book on the next one-shot. Do you want to know which book we're going to be reviewing next month?
Absolutely.
Next month, you know, there's been a lot of books. I mean, we've read a lot of books that we've actually both enjoyed recently. You know, we've read Darkness. We've read Hearts of Darkness. We've read, you know, I forced you to read Dark Claw. I had you read Generation X. Next month, we review a book that we're both going to enjoy because we are reading another #1 next month. And that #1 is Wetworks #1. Finally.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about Wetworks a lot on this show in the past, so I thought it's time to finally see what the hype was about. We're reading Wetworks #1 in February. Look out for that. We're going to be talking about comic book soulmates in the next issue. Until then, everybody, we'll see you next time.